Good grief. What on earth had Kay gotten herself into? Matt Quinn braked, gravel crunching beneath the tires as his Mazda came to a stop in front of his sister's new business. No. Scratch new. Beachview B&B might be new to Kay, but that adjective didn't come anywhere close to describing this cedar shake-covered structure with a whimsical turret on one end. Exhaling long and slow, he wiped a hand down his face as his hopes for the much-needed R&R that had fueled his long drive north from San Francisco evaporated. His sister may not have summoned him for help with her business, but how could he ignore the elephant in the room? An elephant that likely wouldn't be here if he'd done what he should have done and asked way more questions 9 months ago when she'd announced that she was going to buy a B&B on the Oregon coast. Or even come up here to look the place over. He could have accomplished that in a weekend trip if necessary. One more regret to feed the gnawing guilt that had been his constant companion for 2 long years. Knuckling the road grit from his eyes, he tried to coax the ever-present knot in his stomach to untwist. After all, it was possible the few rotted pieces of shake siding above the foundation, the missing roof shingles, the potholes on the inn's access drive, and the listing shutter on the second floor weren't an omen of what was to come inside. Nevertheless, the empty parking lot suggested he wasn't the only one who'd been put off by a negative first impression. Did his sister have any customers? The knot cinched tight again, like a hangman's noose. But this whole scenario did have one bright side. There would be plenty to distract him from his own problems while he was here. The front door opened and Kay stepped out, shadowed under the large A-frame roof above the entryway at this twilight hour. Since it was too late to drive away, even if that had been an option, he pulled into a parking space, set the brake, and pushed the engine stop button. She jogged over, waiting to speak until he opened the door and slid from behind the wheel. "I've been watching for you." Her lips tipped up, fine lines feathering at the corners of her eyes as she held out her arms. "Welcome to Oregon on this beautiful June day." "Thank you." He gave her a hug.